Hey guys, welcome back to Here's Rodder's Reviews. And this episode, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Finally getting back into it now after we did the first part of Revelation. And I'm not going to get into the big chat about where you fall at on Revelation. If you liked it, you liked it. And if you didn't like it, that's all good too. I personally enjoyed it. Thought it was a good series that was very, very much in line with the show that it's based on. But anyway, this episode is the taking of Grayskull, and I really did enjoy this episode, so I'm just waving the cover about in your face there. I like to check out what the wee synopsis in the back of the cover says. Is that even the right word to use for these things? Synopsis? But the little blurb, whatever you want to call it, on the back of the cover right here, for the taking of Grayskull. A series of odd occurrences leads He-Man back to Castle Grayskull, only to find that it has vanished, captured by the evil Skeletor, with Skeletor's magic increased to beyond anything it was before. Even the sorceress cannot stop the wicked leader from putting the whole of Eternia in danger. That's fair enough for that one there. Sometimes I find those little things in the back of the covers, they're accurate, but they're not always 100%. They seem to be a little off from time to time. But basically, in this episode, there's something going down in Eternia. Things are not going good. There's He-Man, Teela, Man-at-Arms, and Ram-Man is in this episode. I absolutely love Ram-Man. He's one of my favourite characters in the whole universe. He's just so random and a lot of fun when he's on screen. And I think if I was to compare myself to anybody, I would compare myself to Ram-Man, because I just batter in head first, not always thinking of the consequences of my actions beforehand. But anyway, there's Eternia is in trouble from random occurrences that are happening. He-Man has to stop a whirlwind from destroying a village, and of course he uses his super strength to actually, pulls the sword of power out, and he starts to spin using the sword, and him using the force of his own power to spin in time with the whirlwind, tornado, whatever you want to call it, actually is able to capture it and throw it right off the planet into space. So that is into the action of the episode. I kind of skipped over quite a bit at the beginning of this episode. It's Orko's birthday, and he's super excited to see what his friends are going to get him and how they're going to celebrate. And every time he tries to mention his birthday to someone, they cut him off as if, we're busy, I can't talk to you now. King Randor, everybody. It's like Orko's like the king, it's a great day, what sort of a day it is, and the king is like, yes, it seems to be a very good day, and walks off, just leaves him standing. And he even goes to try and talk to the palace cook, who fobs him off at the door of the kitchen, doesn't even let him in. And he's like, I'm really busy now, Orko, can't talk to you. But nobody's forgotten his birthday. He thinks they have, but they're all planning a surprise celebration for him. And yes, they haven't completely convinced that they've forgotten about it. But anyway, back to the action of the series, the episode. They managed to stop this tornado from destroying the village, and there's a few boulders coming rolling down from the hillsides after this, and Ram-Man takes one out by using his springy legs to shoot himself across head first into the rock, destroys it. There's another one coming from the other side. He-Man's going to take care of that, and when he reaches for the power sword, it's no longer there. You've seen just previous to this, it vanished. So they finally get through that. They don't know what's going on. While all this is taking place, Orko has decided, if nobody in the palace is listening to me, I'll go and see the sorceress. She's always glad to see me. And he's off to Castle Grayskull to talk to the sorceress. But of course, off screen, he's found out that Grayskull has actually vanished, and when he comes back to He-Man and Teela, Man-at-Arms, Battle Cat, and he's trying his hardest to tell him that, Castle Grayskull's gone, sort of a thing. But for a while, they're still kind of fobbing him off because they assume that Orko's going to go off and go on about his birthday again, and they've got bigger things to worry about. But eventually, He-Man listens to him. Orko's like, why the heck is nobody listening to me? And He-Man's like, what's the problem? Orko tells. And he's like, Castle Grayskull's gone. So they go there and they discover this. The castle's gone, and there's this ball of white energy where the castle used to be. And Man-at-Arms, being the absolute genius that he is, works out that, it's actually a white hole. It's like a black hole, but just not as strong as a black hole. And they surmise that Skeletor has managed to use the power of a white hole to, displace Castle Grayskull in a way. So He-Man, Battle Cat enter the white hole in search of Castle Grayskull and the sorceress. You see an image there. He-Man is telepathically linked to the sorceress, so she can, jump into its head every once in a while and give him a few clues on where to go. So she leads him into the white hole, and as he goes in, there's like a chain reaction that knocks Teela in along with him. And I'm pretty glad that I'm able to put this into this episode after hearing the responses online about, there was too much Teela, not enough He-Man, she's just a side character. This is a perfect example in this episode of Teela always been in He-Man's back and call, shoulder to shoulder. We get it in this episode as well. And that's a bit of a tangent, sorry about that. But they managed to get into this alternate reality, and it is in 80s cartoons, that a lot of the stories and the animation and the ideas and the visuals that you get in this episode in particular, there's a few examples of it throughout He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. There's a lot of kind of happy influence from the 70s dancing about on there. It's just like, it's very much a stoner sort of image in this alternate reality. But they finally find Grayskull, and they get inside, and there's this little ball of energy that's been following them the whole time they've been in the alternate universe, and the trials they have to get past to get there. There's constantly this little beam of energy behind them, this little ball, this little orb sort of a thing, and that's following them, and nobody's noticed this to this point. And in all honesty, I was kind of convinced for a while that it was something to do with Skeletor keeping an eye on them, because of course he's there waiting for them. So they get to the castle, they get in there, the sorceress is bound up by her arms, Skeletor is in the throne of Grayskull, and he's got full control at this time. It's just that nobody can stand against him really right now. It's a universe where everything's kind of backwards. The sorceress's magic works backwards, and Skeletor is using this to full advantage. But as he's getting the upper hand, again this little ball of energy turns up, and there's a bit of a lightning flash within the castle, and the ball of energy turns into the power sword and falls into He-Man's hands. And he's like, even look at that, Skeletor, even now my sword can pull from the good energy that's in this castle. So they're face to face again, and they're having a bit of a showdown in perfect 80s style. And the sorceress is like, my magic, I can help you with my magic, telepathically to He-Man, but it's working in reverse. So if you can get Skeletor to the mirror, there's a mirror in the side of the throne room, and of course when He-Man manages to get Skeletor there, the sorceress can bounce her magic through the mirror, which is back to front where they're at, and the magic or the effect of the mirror will reverse, just like it reverses the image, reverses the magic to the positive. So he bounces the negative to the positive and defeats Skeletor. So the problem now is Castle Grayskull is still trapped in this alternate universe. What are we going to do here? So He-Man crawls down below the castle and actually ends up lifting the entire castle, plus its foundations, absolutely everything. But still, it's a little bit too heavy, so he gets the sorceress to boost his energy with the secrets of Grayskull, basically, and she gives him the knowledge and the power of the secrets of Grayskull. It boosts his energy, and he actually just flings the whole castle, foundations and everything, towards this rip in space and time, basically, to bring it back to its original point in Eternia. And as the castle is thrown, flies off, he's got this little rope and like a little pick end, like he does a Batman essentially, hooks it onto the castle and gets towed back along with it. Great little episode, I really did enjoy this one. And of course you're waiting for the end and the little public service announcement you get at the end of the episodes. If you don't get the point of it, they'll tell you the point of the episode. And part of me was thinking that it was going to be, you really need to listen to people sort of thing. That's what I was expecting it to be, but it's not. It's much funnier than that. And I might actually record a little PSA and send it to my personal trainer, because at the end of the episode, just before this, Orko, again, been a little bit down that everybody's forgotten his birthday, decides he's going to magically get a lot of junk food and sweets and cake, and he's going to pig out on his own in his room, which he does at the very end of the episode. But of course, as friends reveal, brings him to the throne room. He's feeling sick because he's had so much, and he discovers there's a surprise birthday party for him with a huge birthday cake. And the PSA at the end of it is Orko turning around and saying, you know what, today my eyes were bigger than my belly, basically, and you shouldn't eat sweets between meals, because if you eat too much junk food, you're not going to be able to have room for the good 3 meals a day that you need. So eat well, stay healthy, sort of a thing. It's good stuff for kids to watch. Like, I fully believe if I had kids of my own right now, like I've got no kids, but if I had kids, if I settle down, start a family anytime soon, and if kids come along, they're going to be sitting watching 80s cartoons just like I did. It's really good morality tales, essentially, at the end of the day. It's good versus evil. It's, fantasy and all that sort of stuff, but at the core of this show in particular, it's all about the morals of the stories, and really pushing that home towards the children, to put it into language that you could understand today. And another big argument against Revelation, this show is far too woke. You should check out the original He-Man, the Masters of the Universe. This show was beyond woke. The term woke and all that sort of new age stuff just wasn't coined to the way that it is now. It's just all that sort of stuff was alive and well in the 80s. We just didn't make a big song and dance about it. It was just there. Every time you sat down to watch one of these episodes, good moral storylines teaching you how things are supposed to be done, and done well. And it is what it is. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up and share it along. And if you're on the podcast, rate and review, and hit that subscribe button. Anyway, I'll talk to you in the next episode.